meant to be used by 2 people, and here I am alone. What should be done? I have to create a system to use this lever in distance. Impossible. And there, it is done.
Three times 3 is 9. 2 times 5 is 10.
Pardon me, sir. Could I trouble you for some information?
Nasty, nasty cheat. I shall say nothing to you. 3 times 7 is 21. 3 times 8 is 24. I shall speak only to Professor Schwartz. He understands that I have learned all my lessons. 3 times 9 is 27.
Apparently he will speak only with this professor. Perhaps the medical files on this man Wolf will be helpful. This well must empty directly into an underground river. My God, there is a body inside. I am glad I spared Watson this horror. This place conceals deeds far more sinister than the mere traffic in dangerous goods. These are the tools of a butcher. Who could have forgotten this? I don't know what this Guy Jack's studied, but judging by his office and what I saw before, he is more dangerous than any of his patients. The Worship of Ghouls by Count d'Erlette. I do not think this book would give the reader pleasant dreams if reserved for bedtime reading. A cable from New Orleans sent in the last few weeks. If the shipment of these goods from New Orleans relies upon a transfer of funds from Europe, it is possible the actual exchange won't take place for a few weeks. There may still be time to intervene. There's a small label that says classroom. Closed tight. Hold on, there's an oily stain on this letter. It smells of iodine. Interesting. Unbelievable. These letters are from various Swiss banks and show that the doctor made several sales of precious stones over these last months, and each time for higher profit. He must have access to a real treasure. I see numerous transfers were made to an account holder in the Bank of London and another in a bank here in New Orleans. I must take note of these transactions. Oh my God! I feel great pity for the patients who must have been tied to this machine. What's this? A battery with a crank starter. No doubt used to stimulate his patients. A notebook detailing the experiments conducted by Mr. Gyjax. These birds are from the aviary. They served a purpose beyond mere decoration. The faint signs remaining on this blackboard are in phonetics. It appears that people were forced to recite some text with no real understanding of its meaning. It's a pity that the text was erased. This man seems to suffer from every possible mental affliction. Judging by the date of his admission, he must be one of the oldest patients here. The former hospital director researched his case and mentions Wolf's professor. Apparently, he was the only person of influence with the poor fellow. There is even a portrait of the late professor included in with the reports. So this is Professor Schwartz. I believe I'm close to finding what I need. Do you know this man downstairs, the one perpetually reciting his multiplication tables?
Yes, he is Wolf, but you will get nothing from him. He will only speak with one man, this Professor Schwartz, but I believe he died a long time ago.
Perhaps the medical files on this man Wolf will be helpful. Who is this anonymous patient? Perhaps there is a file on him, as with the other patients. This should prove useful. And now time to become the good Professor Schwartz and pay a visit to Wolf. It must be used to punish insolent pupils. Slightly excessive.
So, Wolf, I see you have mastered your lesson. Splendid.
Professor Schwartz?
I congratulate you, Wolf. I cannot say the same about your other classmates. I am most unhappy with their behavior, because it seems they have been cheating.
Professor Schwartz, you saw them, didn't you? I know my lessons. I always work so hard, and the others, they crib from me.
I know, my boy, I know. But their leader, he is a doctor, isn't he?
Yes, Professor, yes. He is the most vile member of the group. Sometimes he tries to keep me from my lessons. He says he will treat me like the others who don't speak like us and who scream so very loud when he punishes them. But I keep to my lessons and recite my tables all the day. He can't stop me.
That's good, my boy. You have made me proud. Now, I need your help. Where do they meet? I must find them and make sure they get the punishment they so rightly deserve.
They meet over there, but it is well hidden and only the doctor has the code. First, he makes noise with the fire near his office. Afterwards, he makes noise with the fire in front of me. And then he makes noise behind me. You will see he does not know his lessons.
Thank you, Wolf. That's a clever boy. You have earned high marks this term, but for now you must try to recite your lessons in silence. Since I am the professor, I know and see everything. There is never a need to shout.
As you say, Professor Schwartz.
I don't need it anymore. Ah, here's the file I was seeking. It can only be our mysterious patient. What a strange character. It works. Simplicity itself. My apologies, but I do not understand what you're trying to say. If I may introduce myself, I am...
Who you are means nothing. All that matters is your reverence to the One. You came to invoke the great Lord with the speaking, and now I ask you, who am I, you wretched mortal? Even your pitiful mind can find enlightenment before serving as food for the servants of chaos.
Where are all those poor souls kidnapped in London? And what about the others who passed through here in their travels?
Your search is in vain. You are nothing to the great Lord. Soon he will heed our call, when those titans will be reassembled for the awakening of their king. The sleeping Lord shall walk the earth. You and your kind will tear your flesh when you learn how your lives insult the great Lord and Master. You will plead for the abyss, as have all those before you who fed the Great One. Those who give their weak flesh to our Lord cry for his return. So shall you. He has lain dreaming, silent, hungry, awaiting his followers. Tremble in awe. Behold, the Great One returns.
He makes so much noise. I better be on my way before he attracts the entire staff. I must be careful to avoid attention. Pardon me, sir. I need your help. He does not seem to hear me. Moriarty! Moriarty, my worst enemy and a man who was presumed dead. Who could think this demon could have survived such a great fall at Reichenbach? He seems a shadow of his former self. There is no doubt he has truly lost his memory and therefore cannot be a part of these events.
Find this outsider as quickly as possible and bring him to the treatment room. I shall take care of his memory.
Professor, do you hear that voice? This man who is speaking to two others, a man of great intellect and ability, who is approaching and is even now right behind that door. You know him, Professor. Come now, Professor. You can't have forgotten so easily. Let me remind you, Professor. I am going to reveal his identity. I will tell you his name. You know him well, Professor. He is... Sherlock Holmes.
Stand where you are!
At last, the laundry. First of all, I must prepare my Amos disguise.
It is the imposter! He is here!
I'll sort you out, buddy. Come here.
The doctor is not here.
We had internal concerns arise today. Herr Director is engaged with urgent hospital matters and cannot be disturbed.
Very well. We will take this troublesome wretch along with us. Perhaps tomorrow the doctor and I will be able to discuss our other matter. First of all, my friend, you should know that you have been dealing with two famous professionals. Your deceit has failed, and you should know that it is impossible to confound us. Who are you, and why have you come here?
What is your opinion, Watson?
Holmes! But what are you doing here? And you are as white as a sheet. It seems as though you met a ghost.
It's quite possible, Watson. Quite possible.
You should have told me about your plans, Holmes.
Definitely not, Watson. You would have acted in an unnatural manner and done everything to persuade me against my course of action.
You can be sure of that. Good God, Holmes, think of the risk you took.
Indeed, Watson, and I hesitate to reveal my further plans. They are likely to be far more dangerous.
Will you explain?
Even though I know the crux of this affair began in Europe and even perhaps in England, we have no elements indicating the when, the where, and the how. Our only lead would have us travel to a continent not our own, one that is wild and untamed in many ways. I assume that you now know the name of our next destination. You are quite correct, Watson. New Orleans, Louisiana, located in the wilds of America, our nemesis has a group of his men there, and we must arrive in time to stop them. We must make haste to Le Havre and book ship's passage immediately. I took precautions before our departure from Switzerland, but it is imperative we maintain the utmost secrecy regarding both our true identities and our destination. We are dealing with a cunning and powerful adversary, Watson. Quite powerful.
Do you require assistance, young man?
Ooh.
Ah, yes, young man. As a Mr. Ho, the big detective, it is often necessary to use all of one's little grey cells to solve great mysteries.
Hercule! Hercule! Where are you? Oh, here you are. Naughty boy, come along now.
Madame Poirot, your stop is coming soon. An agent will assist you with your luggage.